Welcome back everyone to the Audacious Money Witch channel, where we talk about investing and trading stocks, bonds, and crypto assets around the world. Tesla CEO Elon Musk unveiled on Thursday his vision of a fun, exciting future, an age of abundance, full of Tesla's self-driving cars without steering wheels, parking lots turned into parks, and robots that will walk among the population, that he once again promised would be available within a few years. Whether he can live up to these promises remains to be seen. I am going to explain why Tesla stock is down around 6% and Uber shares were up 4%, and everything you need to know about the WeRobot event. It literally took us back 20 years ago when the iRobot movie came out. I will talk about what the mainstream media are saying about Tesla, and I will explain why they are wrong. Let's start with why markets and some folks are disappointed. The robotaxi event itself was postponed by 2 months after Musk ordered changes to the prototype's design. Also, the event was live streamed on X and began 53 minutes late. But the delay seemed to matter little to the in-person crowd waiting for the chances to ride in the 50 self-driving vehicles that were cruising around the studio lot. They continued to cheer Musk throughout his relatively short 20-minute presentation. The event didn't address how Tesla will make the leap from selling advanced driver assistant features to fully autonomous vehicles. Musk's presentation lacked technical details and glossed over topics including regulation or whether the company will own and operate its own fleet of cybercabs. Some say they were happy to see products like the cybercab and the robovan, but hope to also see more traditional, lower-price mass-market vehicles that the company could sell in the near future. Musk had for years pledged to sell a car expected to start at about $25,000, a promise that investors saw as critical to winning new customers. Compared to the competition, Tesla is aiming to leapfrog incumbent self-driving players, including Alphabet's Waymo, by pursuing a lower-cost technological path that Musk believes will allow the company to scale up its autonomous vehicles far quicker than rivals. However, some say Tesla's strategy is simpler and much cheaper than that of its rivals, but has critical weaknesses. Chief among those is the AI technology underpinning its self-driving system makes it nearly impossible to pinpoint why a crash or other failure occurred, something that could concern regulators. Tesla's software is at least years behind where Waymo is. That's the hard part. No flashy vehicle design is going to change that, said a law professor from New York. I mean, that is clearly a lie. But layer on so-called redundant systems and more expensive sensors as a safety precaution. Investors said they anticipate regulators will pose a major hurdle to Musk's plans to shift to unsupervised autonomous driving by next year. Tesla has a track record of blowing past timelines. Musk has offered for all manner of future products and has had a particularly difficult time following through on his self-driving forecasts. The CEO told investors in 2019 that Tesla would have more than 1 million robotaxis on the road by the following year. The company hasn't deployed a single autonomous vehicle in the year since. He's shown the prototypes, and definitely there's some excitement around it, but widespread adoption of autonomous cybercabs, where riders can hail rides through an Uber-style app, are still maybe 3 to 4 years away, investors said. Musk had said he planned to operate a fleet of self-driving Tesla taxis that passengers can hail through an app. He made no mention of the app at Thursday's event. Analysts said that what about the more affordable models Musk has teased for the first half of next year? The CEO didn't offer any such updates. casting further doubt on the company's vehicle sales prospects. Tesla needs to deliver a record number of cars and trucks in the coming months to avoid its first ever annual decline. We were disappointed by the lack of detail regarding Tesla's near-term product roadmap. Analysts said, "We think the event did little to change the opaque intermediate-term earnings outlook." Tesla stock had soared almost 70% since mid-April, largely in anticipation of the robotaxi event, but the stock fell 8% on Friday. Shares of ride-hailing firms Uber and Lyft, meanwhile, were up 4%. In a sign that Musk's announcements were not seen as a threat to the companies. If you are not optimistic about a company, you can't get the shiny apple on top. So let's talk about the great things we have seen and why the mainstream media and mainstream analysts are lying to you about Tesla stock. Rome wasn't built in a day. Of course, the biggest AI project in the world will take time, and all these concepts will take time to manifest. Just think not every investor can get the gold. Only the most patient ones with the focus on the prize and stamina to hold the shares. His vision is lovely, but somebody has to actualize it. For now, the next 24 months, Tesla has to sell EVs. Why aren't we focused on that? The slick two-seat sedan called Cybercab features doors that open upward like butterfly wings. I mean, wow, that's billionaire doors for sure. And the Cybercab obviously doesn't need a steering wheel or pedals. Elon said production may start in 2026 and that the Cybercab could cost less than $30,000. But unlike other electric vehicles, it has no plug, but would be charged by driving over a charging plate. They nailed the form factor, but the investor's reaction is probably going to be muted because it's still a long ways away in terms of the time frame. Musk told the crowd gathered at the Warner Brothers Discovery Incorporated movie studio lot.
Supervised self-driving. So supervised full self-driving is actually working quite well. I'm sure there's people in the crowd, you're using that, yeah? So we'll move from supervised full self-driving to unsupervised full self-driving, where the car, you could fall asleep and wake up at your destination. So the vast majority of the time, cars are just doing nothing. But if they're autonomous, they could be used, 5 times more, maybe 10 times more. So you could actually, for the same car, would have 5 times as much value, maybe 10 times as much value. There's 168 hours in the week, and like I said, only 10 of them are used for driving. So, and then a bunch of those hours are looking for a parking spot, which is, can be pretty annoying at times. With autonomy, you get your time back. This is a very big deal. Save lives, like a lot of lives, and prevent injuries. I think we'll see autonomous cars become 10 times safer than a human. You can think of the car in an autonomous world as being like just a little lounge. You're just sitting in a comfortable little lounge, and you can do whatever you want while you're in this comfortable little lounge. And when you get out, you will be at your destination. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So.
The consumers will be able to buy the Cybercab, then offered a hedged answer when an attendee asked when it will be available. Probably, well, I tend to be a little optimistic on timeframes, but in 2026, Musk said. Before 2027, let me put it that way. If Elon was not a little more optimistic than everyone else, he would not be richer than everyone else. Musk hitched a ride in one of the cars on his way to the stage at the Tesla's glitzy event in Burbank, California. Full of the kind of hype that has built Tesla a dedicated fan base for its EVs. Elon also showcased a futuristic-looking robovan. Later came the dancing, humanoid robots that also mix drinks at the bar. Tesla will sell those too, Musk said, eventually for $20,000 to $30,000 a piece. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind, he declared. Thursday night's electronic dance music infused event had the signature trappings of Musk's salesmanship. But some Tesla investors and experts said they were hoping for more concrete details on how the company plans to transform from an automaker into an autonomous, driving, and artificial intelligence titan with a solid business plan. However, ARK Invest was encouraged by Musk's timeline of offering an unsupervised version of its full self-driving system in Texas and California next year. If they can do that, I don't see why they wouldn't launch a robotaxi service soon after, she said. That is not necessarily a bad thing. There are lots and lots of avenues to monetize this technology. Cybercab may not necessarily be next year, but down the road, the viability is there. They say the only specific was the $30,000 for a cybercab. The concepts were all grand. Is the idea super cool? Absolutely. Investors we spoke at the event thought the event was light of real numbers and timelines. Musk has insisted that the company's data shows that FSD is already safer than cars driven by humans, but others who have tested that feature question whether that is true. One independent testing service, AMCI testing, found that drivers needed to take control every 13 miles on average. We're looking at disengagements at 3% of miles driven, said Gene Munster, about the number of times that a human driver needs to take control. Well, 97% of the way there sounds close. It's not even close. It has to be well above 99%. And to go from 95 or 97% to 99% is really hard. And then there's the question of how many nines the regulators will want to see. Is it 99.9% or 99.99%? I think it'll take 2 years to get the technology right, Munster said, and 2 to 3 years more to get the needed regulatory approval. Focus on what you want and you will get it. Don't worry about, oh, Tesla needs to make another 25,000 cars to sell, where there are a lot of those cheap EVs from China, but their quality can't compare to a Tesla or a Rivian, let alone be able to drive autonomously. I think based on the market, we'll soon reach 6,000. Tesla stock won't be going down as low as people think, despite those lies mainstream media are feeding into folks. And try to steal your shares. Well, I am not selling my Tesla shares, not one bit.